It's noon Eastern here in the Washington, D.C. area, and this is news that you can use for YAA for Monday, May 9th.
Morning, Pops. How are you?
I am well, handsome, and you?
Doing pretty good. Thanks. We are going to kick off today's show talking about Honda and also just the auto industry in general. Sales slumped in the first quarter and especially last month, and also days supply of new car inventory has never been lower, I think is an appropriate way to frame it.
In many brands, yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Here you go. David actually kicking us off with
Yes.
visited Honda Santa Barbara, California a couple months ago. Inventory was 2 recent Accord Hybrid and 1 Civic lightly used. The headline out of Automotive News this morning was this: April auto sales fall on shortages, Honda at 3 days supply.
Yeah, sure. 3 days. Yeah. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Don't stop by. We're out of business.
Now, you sold Acuras for a long time. Honda,
12
Acura,
years,
obviously
yes.
closely related with one another. What do you do with a 3-day supply of inventory?
You rely on your used cars. You go into the used car business. Way back when, in the early 80s,
Yeah.
when there was a limitation placed on the number of Asian imports that could be brought into the country, and I was at a Nissan dealership. Our Nissan rep just told us, you're not getting new cars, so get really heavily involved in the used car business, because that's what's going to sustain you. And that's what we did. And that's what you have to do today if you're a Honda or Acura dealer and you have a 3-day supply, if you have any supply of cars on hand. So yeah, it's a tough time for both consumer and seller.
Yeah, 100% it is. And I'm trying to think back to, Dad, Cox Automotive puts out their own numbers on what the day's supply of inventory is. And they probably had Honda, I don't know, like a 20-day supply or something like that.
Sure.
But we all know it. It's clear as day. Honda, Toyota,
Yes.
Subaru, Hyundai, Kia.
They're all struggling to meet demand. Forget demand. They're all struggling just to create some inventory levels so that, the dealers have something to share with consumers when they come in. We've talked about it that 2 years ago, there were 4 million new vehicles in dealer inventory. And today, there's somewhere around 900,000. Now, the number of new car dealerships hasn't dropped in that 2-year period of time significantly enough that the industry can withstand having only 900,000 new vehicles in inventory. If you want to say, okay, these are different times, new times, fine. Then they need 2 million, 2.5 million, maybe 3 million, but not 900,000. That doesn't bode well for anybody.
Let's look at some of the data, Dad, from the article we've got here. That was certainly the story at Honda, just talking about sales being down, inventory being down. The brand began April with about 18,000 vehicles on dealership lots and entered May with only 12,000, which means there were only 11 Hondas on the ground at the average store and a 3-day supply. Mike Kistemaker, Assistant Vice President of Sales at Honda, said the scarcest nameplates were the Civic and CR-V, which finished with a 1-day supply and turn rates well over 90%. I have never seen a 1-day supply of our product, Kistemaker said. For Toyota North America, gross inventory numbers actually expanded in April by almost 11% to more than 137,000 vehicles, but its long logistics tail left the larger Japanese automakers starting May with just 13,831 vehicles spread across their 1,500 Toyota and Lexus dealerships.
Doesn't sound like a lot, does it?
No. Looking at the industry as a whole, it has been running in place, hovering around 900,000 to 1 million units monthly, give or take, when in the past it was 4 million.
Yes.
Yeah, it's really...
And not all that long ago.
The average incentive per new vehicle was on track to reach a low of $1,034 last month, 66% less than a year earlier. It's just fascinating to see. No one's winning because of this. Absolutely no one is winning as a result of what's going on right now. The unfortunate reality is, though, it's continuing to drive up used car prices.
Yes.
We should have the latest Black Book data tomorrow. And it actually leads to, there was this headline as well on Automotive News' website this morning, Dad, why dealers are selling used cars with 150,000 miles and beyond. More and more older, very high mileage used vehicles are being offered by the nation's franchised auto dealers. Well, the answer is pretty damn simple. Why?
Well, because they saw the movie Toy Story and they said to themselves, "Infinity to beyond." It's where you go. I mean, they'll take anything that runs, okay, that they can turn into. If you're at a price point of $5,000 to $10,000, what are you going to buy?
Nothing.
Okay, so the things that you are going to buy are going to be older cars with 100 plus or 150,000 miles on them. And perhaps you can get lucky enough to find one that's in reasonably decent shape, and say you could buy it for $5,000 or $7,500. But you must be prepared to dump some more money into it so that it can, I don't know, last you a year or two.
This data I find fascinating, this quote as well. 200,000 miles is the new 100,000 miles for a lot of people.
Well, 71 is the new 51, okay?
Just be prepared for your cars run a lot longer. It's completely common for something like a Chevy Tahoe or GMC Yukon to have well over 200,000 miles and still sell for a decent amount of money. The population...
Wait, it's completely common, but that doesn't mean it's good sense. Okay.
The population of super high mileage used vehicles appearing for sale at new car dealerships is increasing in part because vehicles last longer. The average age of America's fleet rose to 12.1 years last year in 2021.
Wow.
Those are, generally speaking, you've got cars over a decade old on the road.
Yes.
Rising new car prices have driven up the value of used cars, and more old vehicles are getting repaired instead of scrapped. Honestly, we don't talk enough on this show about how challenging it is to get vehicle repairs done right now as well. The shortages are there too. Used car prices have soared roughly 40% since the start of the microchip shortage, pricing a large swath of consumers out of the market. 100%.
Yes.
You absolutely cannot find it. Makes this point of consumers are getting more comfortable with buying high mileage vehicles. No, they're not.
No,
they can't
they're
afford
just forced to. It's not that they're more comfortable doing it. It's the only thing that's affordable. There was another article that you had pulled up today or put on our list, and they talked about how cars are becoming less and less affordable for the average person. And I was thinking to myself, hell, we've been saying that for months now, and Jonathan Smoke, who's the chief economist for
Cox
Cox,
Automotive,
that was one of his talking points, that with rising interest rates and vehicle shortages, that cars are becoming less affordable for entry-level people. Where you been, Jonathan? We've been talking about this for months and months and months, saying that this disparity existed and something needs to be done about it. And one of the things he said, well, the manufacturers need to start building more entry-level vehicles. No kidding.
Do you think we're going to see CPO programs that extend to, like, I don't know, up to 100,000 miles on a car? Like, what's stopping an OEM from doing that?
Because actuarially speaking, they know what's about to happen.
Price it right. You price it right.
They know what's about to happen, and their accountants and stuff are going to tell them, no way, Jose. So, no, I don't see that happening.
Charles, with an interesting question here. Can you sometimes talk about the high interest loans available for car repairs? I have no familiarity with this. Do people finance car repairs?
Oh, yeah. We used to, at dealerships that I worked at, if you couldn't afford a repair, well, there was an application right there from Wells Fargo Bank to apply for your Wells Fargo credit card so that you could pay for your repair. So, yes, it was like when I bought my first set of hearing aids. And they said, if you pay for it using Wells Fargo, they'll give you a credit card, and they give you 24 months, 0 interest. Okay, I did that. I didn't need it, but I did it. I figured, well, if I could pay for it over 2 years without paying any interest, why not?
Yeah, 100%. All right, let's come back here to the chat pops. Oh, man, David's with 221,000 miles on his Volvo. Running great, but $2,200 in recent maintenance. Yeah, definitely have to pay for that. Oh, and here you go. Igor says they're already up to 100K miles at most OEMs for CPO. That the vehicle can go up to 100. I mean that you can get it certified at 100,000 miles, Igor. I think that'd be fascinating.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I personally, I don't see it.
Tommy D, deal of the day.
Yeah.
Roth Rock Dodge in Allentown, Pennsylvania has a 2018 Grand Caravan SE Plus with only 26,000 miles, asking 40 grand plus
Okay,
fees.
yeah, no, that seems reasonable. What did that sell for new in 2018 when it had 0 miles on it? Maybe $35,000.
Yeah, if that. We've got here from Magali. Hi, guys. Now, would that affect the service department too? So, not having vehicles on the lot and all the shortages, does that affect the service department?
Well, the dealership at that point in time depends on the service department to help pay for all the bills. What affects the service department is parts availability, and we've discussed that with AMD.
Yep.
That there are cases at the dealership where he worked where they were waiting months and months and months with no end in sight for just common parts that they needed so they could put a customer's car back together.
Yeah.
So that's a big issue. There's been part shortages before, but not quite like this.
100%. Let's go here to David. He says local Honda dealer has moved lawnmowers and snow blowers onto the showroom floor where cars used to be.
Okay, that's why the picture behind us, that is the future of automotive retail in this country. You got one car in a lot. You got a satellite dish on the roof that looks like it's decrepit and ready to fall apart, and you don't even have a showroom door because nobody's going to open it.
Now, Pops, we also have here from Learning Fast. Vroom doesn't seem to be serious about buying cars now. Their offer was $12,000 lower than Carvana's offer for my car. Vroom's inventory is extremely low as well. Might see some liquidation action happening there soon, is my 2 cents. And Jordan reminding us that Carvana, Vroom, and Rivian are all collapsing today. We'll talk about that. Lauren wants to know if there's some good news today, and I promise there's definitely going to be some good news. And Tommy D.
Yes.
Trade in a 100,000-mile car, and dealer says, oh, it's old, high miles. Buy a 100,000-mile car, and dealer says, low mileage.
Yeah, it is.
Market.
And my God, this is so underpriced at $20,000 above what it was sold for new.
Now, one thing I wanted to bring up, and I know you were here, and I'm sorry for distracting you. I was looking for this tweet. Okay. It's going to take me a second here to make this point, but I want to show it to you.
Okay.
This comes from Katie Notopoulos. I guess she's a tech reporter.
Okay.
The stats here on Klarna Afterpay are horrifying. 73% of Gen Z purchases are for fashion. 43% of them miss a payment. Do you know what Klarna or Afterpay are? It's okay if you don't.
No.
Okay. So Klarna and Afterpay, they're what's called buy now, pay later services.
Okay.
So if you're checking out for something online, you've probably seen this thing where you don't pay for it right now. Pay for it over 4 payments. Pay for it over interest free. Pay for it. Klarna does that, and Afterpay does that.
Okay.
73% of Gen Z purchases are for fashion. That seems interesting. You're buying how much does that t-shirt you're wearing cost?
$22.
Why would I want to pay that over 4 payments? I don't really know, but maybe they're buying more expensive t-shirts. All good.
Or maybe they're buying like 10 of them.
Maybe they're buying 10 of them and they want
and
more
they
payments.
Don't have 200.
So 3 out of 4 Gen Z, people a little bit younger than me, are paying for these things with Klarna Afterpay. 43% of them miss a payment. 43% of them miss a payment. The reason I'm bringing this up, Dad, is because if we were to go back to that Automotive News article talking about, hey, we need to sell cars with 150,000 miles on it because it's only affordable cars for consumers to buy, and then they're going to finance it for 10 freaking years. And we're starting to already see this next generation of buyer be preconditioned to buy t-shirts.
To buy anything
on payments. And then half of them miss a payment. We're screwed. Lauren, I promise there's good news coming, but still we're screwed.
Which means if they're missing payments there and it gets reported to the credit bureaus, well, they're going to pay a higher interest rate because of their poor credit standing. And that was Generation Z.
Gen Z.
Well, nobody's teaching them in school the importance of credit and the importance of paying things in a timely fashion. These things aren't discussed in high school.
No.
Okay. How to buy a car is not discussed in high school. How to manage your finances is not discussed in high school. And these young people are going to fall into this trap, and then they're going to be burdened with higher interest rates the rest of their lives because they missed a payment or two on whatever that app
On
was.
Afterpay, on Klarna for their Gucci belt buckle. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
Well, it's sad. It's sad because they haven't been informed as to what this is all going to mean for them over their lifetime. And they could end up paying hundreds of thousands of dollars more in interest fees than they should have had they not fallen into this trap.
100% completely agree. Let's switch gears, Pops. Let's actually talk for a second here about what is going on with Ford and with Rivian. This is a headline from Automotive News. Ford is selling some of its Rivian shares, report says. Ford owns about 12% of the EV producer, just under 102 million shares after taking a stake prior to Rivian going public last year. So Ford's offloading 8 million of their shares in the public
So they
markets.
didn't lose enough, excuse me, they didn't lose enough last quarter on the Rivian purchase that they want to
whatever.
this quarter.
They're starting to liquidate their position in Rivian. It's very
Okay.
interesting. Let's do a quick Rivian stock. We want to look at the stock price really quickly. Down another 15% today. Still,
Wow.
market capitalization of $22 billion, one of the largest automakers by market capitalization in the world, which is pretty incredible considering their stock's down 75% this year.
Can a manufacturer that's market capped at 22.5 billion, can they literally end up going out of business? Can investors look at that and say, I'm done, and just pull the plug and sell it for pennies on the dollar and be done with it?
As Rivian's setting up to open their next manufacturing plant in Georgia, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. Also, I don't know if you Lucid, their CEO had a $250 million bonus after they just produced 360 cars in a quarter.
Delivered 300.
Yeah. And you know what their guidance is for the year? We're going to get 10 to 12,000 out the door.
And that's worth paying somebody $250 million?
Yeah, how quickly do you have to? Anyway.
Wow. We're in the wrong business. Damn.
Yeah.
We need YAA Electric to mean it's a damn car.
Yeah, we sold that vision. Yeah, people would finance it.
And we just want you to know, as investors, we never actually plan on building it or selling it. We just plan on talking about it. And we want you to value our new business somewhere around, I don't know, $50 billion, invest a lot of money. Let Zach and I cash out. Oh
You're onto something, Pops. Dr. Wisdom got a good question for you, and then I want to turn our attention to Napleton.
Okay.
Was Ray as concerned about saddling people with loans when he sold cars?
Yes. I used to try to talk people out of doing things.
Which is an impossible position to be in.
Well, I would look at people that had negative equity in their current car, and they had no cash, and they just wanted to roll all that negative equity into their next car loan. And I would sit there and I would advise against that. I used to tell people, I said, this doesn't make good economic sense for you. Don't tell me what to do. I'm not trying to tell you what to do. I'm just suggesting to you that it doesn't make good sense. Yeah, well, it's my dollars and cents. I'll do with them whatever I want. Okay.
Yeah, and that was back in a time when the negative equity situation, you could have seen people rolling over twice. So their last car deal, their next $5,000, $10,000.
Constantly. And so did I want to saddle people with loans like that? No. If the dumb bastards were stupid enough to want to do it on their own and I couldn't talk them out of it, what was I supposed to do?
We've got here from Rick, car crisis coming soon when these used car prices adjust. Eventually, this is going to be this is the new conversation, is what plays more of a role in an effect? And we didn't even talk about it yet, so let me pull up the data. We had another 75,000 vehicles taken out of production due to the chip shortage.
And most of them were in North America.
And so let me pull that up because this is the new storyline. It's the same storyline, but the new rift on it is what's going to have more of an effect. The continued lack of new car supply, another 75,000 vehicles taken out of production because of the chip shortage, not even the wire harness shortage or other shortages, just the chip shortage. Will that play a bigger role and impact used car pricing, or will increasing interest rates that take consumers out of the market, will that play a bigger role in used car pricing? That's the new story. We have no clue yet, although the leading indicators are that the new car supply shortage is going to be the bigger impact and it's going to continue to prop up used car prices. We saw last week from Black Book the market continuing to rise in terms of used car prices. We'll have new data tomorrow. I don't think we're going to see an adjustment for a long time unless there's a real severe economic situation that takes most buyers out of the market. But you've got to remember here, fleet sales have been turned off by most manufacturers for like a year.
For quite some time.
Okay, so you've got a lot of companies, businesses that need vehicles that haven't even been fulfilled, or rental car companies, et cetera. So
local governments, they're big fleet buyers.
Yep.
Local and state governments.
We've got here Andrew with a great question. Which brand in North America currently has the best supply availability? Stellantis products?
Stellantis and the Volvo were two of the largest.
Yeah, Stellantis, Volvo, Buick inventories are okay.
If I remember correctly, yes.
Yeah, Jordan, it is definitely not Kia.
No.
If anyone's struggling the most, it could very well be Kia. Well, actually Subaru, but could be Kia.
Subaru and Honda are...
I'd say probably struggling the most would be Subaru, Honda, Kia, Hyundai, Toyota.
In that order.
Yeah, probably some. Yeah, definitely Subaru first. We had this article in Automotive News, Dad. Napleton discrimination case may preview more scrutiny on F&I product margins. If you don't remember, Napleton, the automotive group out of Illinois, Florida, they operate in multiple
they're
states.
Headquartered out of Illinois. That's where they were first founded.
They had to pay a $10 million+ fine to the Illinois State's Attorney General and the FTC. They admitted no wrongdoing for discriminating against Black customers and for also forcing fake fees and products onto their customers,
saying that they were mandatory.
The largest fee we've ever seen assigned back to a dealer group.
Yes.
This article in Automotive News is essentially the first industry publication we've seen that says, all right, we're going to see more of this, and button up for it. And it's interesting because the attorney that's quoted in that article is an attorney that used to work with us here at YAA. We have a relationship with Randy Henrik, the attorney mentioned there. And so it's fascinating to see. The expectation is there's going to be more. And honestly, I hope that we can help bring about some of the awareness to these practices that are going on. And with good reason. The tactics that are used, as we've talked about frequently on this show and on the YA channel, they're not great.
They're not kosher.
They're really not kosher. No.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because as you go through the article, they talk about essentially, like I keep saying, the expectation is there will be more.
And they were talking about some rules and regulations that auto dealer associations have come up with for transparency, for everybody being offered everything at the same rates and the same prices.
Can we just hit on that for a second? The fact that these products are priced differently on a per customer basis because you think you can take. We did the great role play with Laura and Kimberly, and we had the scene where you go over to the F&I office or Kimberly comes to your office and you say, I think you can sell Laura a lot of products.
Yes.
The fact that we're talking about, and we're seeing it finally some enforcement around, hey, that's not how it should be.
It shouldn't.
No. The price of something is the price of something.
Yes. I used to have that argument with one of my used car managers. When I'd ask him to go appraise a car, and his response to me was, "What do you need?" I said, "It's not a matter of what I need. What's it worth?" Yeah, but what do you need to make your deal? It doesn't matter. Just assign the value to the car. Go out, look at the car, put a real honest to God value on it.
Yep.
What is it worth? It has nothing to do with what I need to make the car deal.
Yep.
What I need is for you to tell me what it's worth so I can go share that with the customer. So when it comes to F&I products, it shouldn't be, well, what do you think I can do with this particular customer?
How much money can I make off of them?
It should just be, here's the products, here's what they sell for, here's how it impacts your payment.
Yeah, no.
But everybody gets offered the same product at the same price, regardless of credit score, regardless of the color of your skin, regardless of gender.
Yep.
It's just the way it should be. And to me, that just seems like, well, common sense. But as I like to say, the problem with common sense is it's just not all that common.
We have an article that was also in Automotive News, F&I providers monitoring parts, labor, inflation. We've talked about on this show. You buy a VSC, a vehicle service contract, and extended warranty through YAA. We still haven't seen price increases from AUL Corporation, which is the company that we work with. We vetted and we chose to work with. So if you get a quote from us, it's still going to be. We make our $500. The price is the price. They still haven't increased their prices. It's fascinating though because they're saying finance and insurance product providers expressed confidence.
Start looking at that. Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Actually, and let's put it to the test. Maybe prices have gone up, and I just don't know. Let's do like a new Toyota. Let's do like a RAV4. I'm curious because maybe prices have gone up, and I'm not on it. I don't think they have, but let's see.
Well, we're perhaps about to find out.
Where are we? We're in Maryland.
We're still in Maryland. MD, where everybody's a doctor.
Because I think it should be 1220. No, prices have not gone up yet.
That's pretty cheap.
You're telling me, man, and we're holding the bag. we might need them to raise their prices.
Same thing for an Alfa Romeo. Let's see what it says.
I'd rather not. Okay. Actually, we have the Tesla extended warranty that's going to be dropping soon. So get excited for that. Tesla. We'll be able to sell Tesla extended warranty. I'm excited about that.
Wow.
All right, Pops. I want to switch gears here.
Yes.
I know the headphones are kind of far away, but can you
maybe for you, buddy? But I got mine right here, and I'm going to try and do it without spilling my fruity water.
You ready?
No.
You getting ready?
I have to put them on first. Really? You gotta be kidding me. Yeah, you do.
Did you see this, Dad?
I don't know. What are you going to share with me?
F1, Formula One had a race in Miami.
Yeah.
They also decided to have a marina at the track. Did you see this?
No.
You didn't see this? Okay.
No.
So it's at the track.
Apparently, I'm not into F1 racing.
But take a look at this.
Yeah.
All right. We'll watch this video really quickly. Let me make sure the audio is not going to go through. Okay, great. Take a peek at this video. So you're at the track.
Yeah. Is that real water?
Boom! They built a fake marina at the track.
Wow. Well, are those real boats?
Yes.
What are they sitting in?
Paint.
Very cool.
So you got cars going by.
Yeah, and the yachts.
Wait, look at this. This is the look at this.
Wow.
Is this not the best really you've got to be kidding me we've ever had?
Well, that's my kind of boat. Because, as you know, once you introduce water, I have a fear of boats and water combined. So if that's just boats on paint, I'm good to go. Let's get one.
I think this is peak.
And a virtual future.
Yeah, it's a peak out of virtual future, sure.
Yeah.
But I also think it's like a representation of like we've hit the top of like exuberance for a little while, and now things are going to come back. Yachts on fake water at a Formula One race.
I like that. Yeah.
Pretty sad, honestly.
Yeah. So what do you think we can buy that dealership for behind us?
Yeah, it's going to be scary. We had the video drop on the YAA channel today talking about dealerships crumbling. Well, we had news from Honda and Acura talking about essentially the footprint of the dealerships are going to be considerably smaller than they currently are. And that's our expectation, is that there's just going to be smaller and smaller and smaller footprints because they don't really need that much.
And our other expectation is that huge auto parks, okay, along interstates.
Yeah.
Are going to be turned into drive-in multiplexes, and you'll be able to go to the movies there because they'll have all that acreage. All they have to do is erect screens all over the place, and you can be watching a movie because you can't go to a dealership on all that acreage and buy a car there because they don't have any. And they've got to figure some way to be able to make some money so that they can afford to pay their real estate taxes. So that's my look into the future, ladies and gentlemen. You will have all these large dealership groups opening drive-in cineplexes.
This could be the future, it may also not be. It's fascinating.
And they very well might have yachts on paint as a draw.
It's fascinating because, as Igor reminds us, OEMs are still assigning new dealerships.
Oh, yeah.
With like somewhat frequent, on a somewhat frequent schedule.
There's still available points. Yeah.
Crazy to think.
Yes.
All right. We will be back tomorrow.
I believe we will.
At 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. We are going to have the latest used car market data. Tomorrow's an important day. Tomorrow
Okay.
really is.
Okay.
Because if we see used car prices, the wholesale used car prices have gone up again.
Yes.
That bucks the trend of what we saw in Q1 or what some people quoted that we saw in April, which was, hey, car prices are coming down.
No. Seasonally adjusted.
Seasonally adjusted.
We're not going to tell you what that seasonal adjustment is. Oh, and if you take out that seasonal adjustment, they actually went up 2.6%, but don't you worry about it.
So tune in tomorrow. We'll get the latest news on the used car market. Pops, until then,
Yes.
let's have a happy Monday. Wish everyone a happy Monday as well. We'll be back then.
Yes. Thank you for all of you for being here today. We'll see you again tomorrow at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific, for more news that you can use from YAA.
Well done, Pops.